Okay guys, welcome to this video where in the next 5 minutes we're just going to take a quick look at why so many people are struggling in their minds. And we're going to look at what's going on in the brain. We have really big brains, very powerful, they're brilliant, but for some reason some people seem to struggle. I'm going to explain why I think that is anyway. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that we have 3 distinct separate parts of the brain. I mean, there's loads of different areas to it, but they've been classified as 3 different sections of the brain when you look at how it evolved. Now the first part was the lizard part. This lizard brain, that's the very first part. It's like at the top of the spinal cord, what we call the brain stem. And this is basically, it just looks after us, it just wants to survive. Regulates our heartbeat, our temperature, balance, digestion, all these sorts of areas that are basically subconscious. This is what the lizard brain looks after. So that's at the very top. And then after that, we had this limbic system develop, which is like the mammalian brain that all mammals have. So I call it the mouse brain. So that's basically just trying to make us social animals, where we've started, you know, being in families and being in groups and trying to survive by being in groups. So after that, of course, you have what we have more classically, as we think of it, as like the grey matter, where you've got the 2 hemispheres of the neocortex. So that's the human part of the brain. So these 3 parts of the brain, they work together to try and keep us alive. You know, it's not the brain's job to make us happy, it's the brain's job to keep us alive. And these 3 different areas of the brain have to work together. But the problem is that they don't communicate brilliantly, because they all have different things to do, different tasks to do. So the lizard brain is literally just trying to keep us alive by looking for threats. The mouse part of the brain is trying to keep us alive through social. As I've said, it's trying to stay together in groups. You know, mammals, they like to stay together, hunt in packs and all of that sort of thing. And the human part of the brain is trying to keep us alive through learning. You know, we're very clever species, so we're trying to learn what all this means and trying to make it better and make it easier. So when the lizard brain encounters a threat, it takes us into this fight or flight, this stress reaction, and it's going to send out chemicals and neurochemicals to try and communicate with us. That's how it communicates with the other parts of the body, through chemicals, through neurochemicals. And of course, if you're stuck in stress for too long, you end up with too much cortisol in your body, and it's really unhealthy. The mouse uses emotion to communicate with us. You've got to remember, this animal brain here, it doesn't understand words, it doesn't understand language, it has 0 concept of time as we know it. So you can't expect it to communicate in any other way. And of course, we use words, we use language. This part, the human part of the brain, has developed language, which is an amazing thing. But there's no point at all when we're struggling in life with either too much stress or too much emotion. There's no point in trying to solve these problems. Our emotions and our feelings are so powerful, so strong. Everybody's got them. There's no point trying to solve these with words, with language. There's no point trying to solve it with IQ. With IQ, we're trying to be logical. We're trying to sit down and think, well, why did this happen to me? What is going on here? What did I do wrong? Using the wrong part of the brain is never going to release these emotions. It's never going to make the feelings any better. I mean, obviously it can to a point, but what I'm saying is, instead of this IQ, what we really need is EQ. So instead of having IQ, which is your intelligence level, what we really need is an emotional intelligence level, and that's the EQ. So we need to solve what's going on in this part of the brain with its own language, and that's EQ. That's learning emotional intelligence. That's learning how to treat these parts of the brain through emotions and feelings and getting out of stress as much as possible. We've been trying for hundreds of years to solve our problems with IQ, and it's not working. Everybody is struggling. Everybody is basically just spinning the wheels because you can't use this level of the mind to solve this level. Alright, I hope that makes sense. I've put together a quick guide just on the website so that you can have a look at that at any time that you want, and it's emotioncoachingfor7.com/3 brains. Okay, so you may find it helpful to look at that guide and have it all written out in front of you so that you can understand it a bit better. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that. I hope that makes sense. But what we really need in this world is more EQ than IQ. We need a balance of it, of course, but at the moment, this here is practically non-existent. So we need more EQ. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.